Coming up at 6, law enforcement is stepping up after a fatal wreck on the Natchez Trace. We'll tell you how they plan to improve driver safety on the road. Plus, Governor Phil Bryant makes a decision regarding JPS schools. Stay tuned to find out what he says on WLBT News this Saturday morning.
And coming up in weather, this is our first full weekend of fall, which means we only have, what, another month of summer to go? So we got summer thunder showers and rain this afternoon. Also, though, some cooler weather on the way. Plus, we'll take a look at the tropics here in just a little while, too. So you hang on. We got full weather coming up, and take a look at some football forecasts, too. Coming up a little bit later on in the morning, right here on WLBT.
WLBT, 3 on your side. WLBT News starts now.
Well, good morning. I'm Morgan Wagner. Law enforcement stepping up efforts to reduce injuries and improve safety for motorists traveling the Natchez Trace Parkway. Wednesday, an Alcorn student died in a single-car accident on the Trace. While the cause of that accident is still under investigation, officials want to remind drivers to be safe. Patrice Clark has the details.
Brandon Mann loves to capture the sights and sounds of the Natchez Trace, but he does not like drivers disobeying the rules of this scenic road.
It only takes a second to get in a wreck. You look down for just a couple seconds and you could be in the back end of another vehicle.
Ranger Stephen Dallinger couldn't agree more. He says there is at least one accident on this trace every day, too many, in his opinion.
In about the last year or so, we've had approximately about 6 to 7 fatality crashes just within my district. Now on the entire Natchez Trace, we're probably up to, say, roughly about 1 a month.
A warning is now going out to drivers that they have more unmarked cars on the road and new radar that can clock your speed and several other vehicles at one time at a good distance.
We already have the LiDAR out. We've been using it for a few months now. The benefits is that we can single point a vehicle. We know exactly which vehicle it is. So the argument, if it wasn't me, it was the vehicle in front of me, kind of loses a little bit of steam because it is very pinpointed accuracy with the LiDAR units.
Rangers also plan to team up with other police departments to do more crackdowns.
Slow down, obey the traffic laws, and enjoy your time while you're on the Natchez Trace.
Patrice Clark, 3 on your side.
Funeral arrangements just in for that Alcorn State student killed on that accident in the Natchez Trace. Services for 20-year-old Regina Carr are scheduled for Monday, September 25th at Greater Pearly Grove Missionary Baptist Church on West County Line. Her family and friends, however, are gathering this weekend for a candlelight vigil at Brighton Park in Clinton. That's scheduled for tonight at 6 p.m. Governor Phil Bryant says he's going to wait another month before deciding whether to approve a state takeover for the Jackson School District. The governor says he will hold off until the State Department of Education releases the final school ratings for 2015, the 2016 school year. That's scheduled for October 19th. State officials have said preliminary data shows JPS will get a rated F for a second year straight. And a precautionary boil water notice for some Jackson residents because of a repair on a fire hydrant. Now, if you live on Crescent Avenue, Mason Boulevard, Lee Street, or Covington Park apartments, you should boil your water before using it until pressure is restored. Happening today, parts of northbound on I-55 are closed for bridge repairs and inspection. MDOT crews began work last night on a stretch of I-55 between Fortification Street exit and the exit to Woodrow Wilson. Crews will close multiple lanes and work should be done by Monday at 6 o'clock. Mississippi District 34 Senator Juan Barnett will prepare and serve meals for hundreds of Houston residents working to put their lives back together following recent massive flooding. The cookout will be held at Tabernacle of Praise by Reverend John Piles beginning at 11 a.m. Barnett's associates Bobby Taylor of Laurel, Kevin Johnson, and Eric Ulmer of Heidelberg will help grill the 1,500 hamburger patties and 200 pounds of smoked sausage. They'll also provide 84 cases of water and buns for all of that meat. A lot of stuff happening in the metro today. The Mount Carmel MB Church in Pulahatchie, along with the community, has been gathering necessary goods for hurricane victims and will be boxing and loading an 18-wheeler. Starting at 8 this morning, the truck will be located in Pulahatchie across from the community center next to that local grocery store, Fairway Foods. On Monday, that 18-wheeler will take the items collected to areas affected by recent hurricanes. And remember, to keep up with all the latest information in the Jackson metro area, just download our free mobile app at the App Store or Google Play. A Tennessee jury finds Zach Adam guilty of murder, kidnapping, and rape. 20-year-old nursing student Holly Bobo was first reported missing back in 2011. Her remains were discovered in a wooded area 3 years later. Sentencing begins this morning. First Alert meteorologist Walt Grayson joins us from the Weather Center with a first look at that forecast. Good morning, Walt.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Man, let's not get into that. That's too early. No, I'm doing great, really. It's not too bad. We're going to have some warm temperatures today. We're at about 70 degrees, give or take, around the area right now. Our temperatures up to very summer-like temperatures over the weekend. And our rain chances almost look summer-like, too. That slight chance coming up this afternoon. Let me tell you about that and some other stuff in just a minute. Hang on.
Well, coming up next, Hurricane Irma isn't only affecting people, it's also affecting trees. We'll tell you right here how. And Florida residents still recovering from Irma receive another scare from Mother Nature. We'll have all this and more coming up on WLBT News at 6.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Yeah, the first weekend of autumn, and we have some great autumn-like temperatures on the map this morning. If this were only our high temperatures for the day, well, that's the present temperatures. We're 69 in Jackson right now, 71 up in Lexington, 71 Butte. It's about the same thing down in Macomb, although we don't have anything on the map for it. It's a nice morning this morning, nothing on the radar, no precipitation right now, probably some scattered showers popping up this afternoon. On our water vapor loop, which when you don't have anything on the radar and there's not particularly anything on the satellite, you go to the water vapor to see what's going on. The tan color, this is the drier air, and the blue color is moisture popping up. And indications are we do have that little upper level low that's embedded in this high pressure. That will probably help kick off some showers in the heat of the day. Widespread stuff, no place in particular is going to get a shower. You know, you might get one, you might not. It just all depends on if you've been living right or wrong, one or the other. Big changes coming, though. You can kind of see it as we begin to shape up out here. This counterclockwise movement in the air out over the west. That's the low pressure trough that's building up. That's easing across the plains. It's going to take its sweet time getting here. Probably by the end of the work week, we'll begin to see this coming in as a cold front. Could have some rain with it when it comes in. Also some cooler temperatures back behind it. Maria is moving away from the Bahamas this morning. Looks like it's going to shoot the gap between Bermuda and the east coast of the United States, and probably toward the end of the work week, it's going to wind up here where Jose is right now. Jose is kind of being wiped out by some offshore winds that's kind of shearing it apart up here off of New England. But keep an eye on Maria if you've got, especially if you've got interest on the East Coast. I don't think it'll be a strong hurricane by the time it gets up there, but it looks like it's going to park right up here in the same place that Jose is. And then we have another storm out here in the middle of the Atlantic. This one is way out here. This is Tropical Storm Lee. It's moving northward and then is scheduled to cut over toward the east. So it doesn't look like Lee's going to be a problem to any kind of land. As far as our land goes, our weekend looks great. We're going to have a high temperature today of about 90, same thing tomorrow. Morning lows 71 both days, and about a 20% chance of afternoon showers. In other words, this typical summertime weather again. Sort of this afternoon sometime. Heat of the day, we'll begin to see those showers popping up, and again, you know, you might get some lightning out of it. We did yesterday. Alpha Insurance camera out toward the airport. Things are looking great out there. Flights, I guess, shouldn't have any problem this morning. We're in the 60s. Upper 60s, lower 70s. We'll be into the 80s by the middle of the morning, into the 90s by the middle of the afternoon. And then our 5-day forecast. Morgan, here's where the change comes in. It's toward the end of the week here. You see our temperature dropping down to 89 on Thursday, but 66 then on Thursday night. Only about 86 on Friday, and actually that 86 could be even lower than that. We may be down to about 80, so fall might be here.
Oh, that's exciting, Walt. Floridians are still reeling from bad weather, so a sight off the coast made beachgoers a little wary. A huge funnel cloud popped up offshore. Actually, it was several funnel clouds. The funnel clouds stayed offshore and were harmless, but it's a proof of unstable atmosphere stirred up by Hurricane Irma. On Friday, there were also rip current warnings along the Florida coast. Fall may be here, but some leaves in Florida are going brown for another reason. Many of the leaves on the trees in parts of Florida have gone brown following Hurricane Irma. Dan Billow takes a look at this phenomenon, what caused it, and what it means for the trees and their leaves.
Lots of questions about it. People are panicking. They're afraid that their trees are dead.
Teresa Riley, who runs Brevard County's largest nursery, Rockledge Gardens, and has lived here all her life, has never seen trees respond this way to a hurricane. Across the landscape, trees, especially oaks, appear dead.
The difference this time is the browning of the foliage. And I think everybody has noticed. The wind just took all of the moisture out of the leaves and caused the leaves to die.
Riley and other tree experts believe the prolonged presence of Irma's winds made the difference between it and other hurricanes. So while the hurricane killed a lot of leaves, it didn't kill the trees themselves.
In Cocoa Beach, there are quite a few trees known as hurricane trees that appear to have been pushed sideways away from the ocean by years of hurricanes. The point is, they always survive.
We really got off easy. It's sad to see the destruction, but to know that it's temporary is really encouraging. I would expect this one is going to be leafing out within the next couple of weeks.
The time right now, 6:12, and coming up, hostages are safe following an attempted bank robbery in Tennessee. We'll tell you what we know when we come back. Stay tuned.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. It's 6:15. We got great weather out there this morning. No precipitation, pleasant temperatures. We're in the upper 60s and low 70s around the area, up into the 90s for the afternoon temperatures. Hey, if you're heading out for those ball games, states in Georgia tonight. Kickoff time at 6 o'clock, 82 degrees at kickoff. Ole Miss and Southern have a bye week. Jackson State and Alcorn, important games for both of them. They're home with 80 degrees or so for kickoff time.
Law enforcement on the scene of a bank robbery in Tennessee that became a hostage situation. The officers responded to a community bank in Columbia. Authorities say a 53-year-old man with a machete forced people to stay inside the bank. He eventually released all of his hostages, but police say he refused to leave the bank. Police haven't released a motive or the suspect's name. Mexico Navy has rescued, or it says it's rescued, 115 people alive from the rubble in Mexico City. Rescue efforts continued into their fourth day yesterday following Tuesday's 7.1 earthquake. Mexican officials say about 3,000 federal police officers have been mobilized nationwide as a part of the effort, and about 1,300 Navy personnel are helping the federal police. Red Cross workers and civilian volunteers are also doing what they can to help with rescue efforts. Mexican authorities have raised the death toll from the earthquake to almost 300, with more than half of those deaths in Mexico City. In Puerto Rico, authorities scrambled to evacuate as many as 70,000 people who live downstream from a failing dam. The island is already flooded by water from Hurricane Maria, and power and communications are still out across most of the island. Barry Arendt has the latest.
Hurricane Maria's torrential rains drenched parts of Puerto Rico, 15 inches in some places, leaving towns underwater and swelling reservoirs.
This is a San Juan municipality. Is everybody okay in that house?
In San Juan, the mayor herself waded through flooded streets with a bullhorn, calling out to stranded residents, checking on their welfare. In a terrible irony, an island drowning in rainwater is short on drinking water. Along a roadside, people lining up with plastic bottles and jugs, collecting stream water from pipes on a hillside. The water shortage blamed on Puerto Rico's power crisis. Millions across the island spending another night in the dark. Contractors brought in to help clear debris before they can start reconnecting electric lines.
It's a new experience for us. I'm working in George, I'm working in Google, and I never see something like this one.
On top of that, 95% of the cell service is out. But Puerto Rico's largest airport has reopened for some flights, desperate people trying to return to their homes and loved ones. The island's latest death toll is 6, and the threats are not over. The risk of flash flooding very real and very dangerous. Barry Arendt, NBC News.
Well, it's nearly 6:18 and still to come. 2 veterans are being honored for their service, but they have another bond besides being in the military. We'll tell you what that is when we come back this Saturday morning.
Hey, welcome back. 20 minutes after 6 o'clock. We got a great day starting off for us. Our present temperature in Jackson right now, we're at 69 degrees, topping out at about 90 today. It wouldn't be, really, it's not so bad if it just wasn't for the mosquitoes. And I think all the rain that we've had this summer, I think, is really just cheering them up. They're awfully hungry, and they like me. Here's the travel temperatures. These are high temperatures around the nation today. Not a lot of travel problems in the south. Scattered showers looks like the biggest rain problem that we'll have.
The Southern Weekend explores food, fun, and travel in the South. While in Charleston, South Carolina, Molly McKinney visited Middleton Place, a National Historic Landmark and the home to America's oldest landscape gardens.
Middleton Place is home to lush landscaped gardens, indigenous antebellum animals, and a historic plantation house museum. Nestled by the Ashley River in northern Charleston, Middleton Place offers a window into the deep history of the South.
I am so excited to be at Middleton Place. Having never been here before, it's beautiful here.
Well, Middleton Place, first and foremost, is home to the oldest landscape gardens in North America, which are beautiful all year round. We also have our historic Middleton Place Plantation Stable Yards. Now, here in the stable yards, well, we try to show the working life of the plantation. We have artisans here in the grounds that demonstrate such things as blacksmithing, pottery, carpentry. Now, all the animals here at Middleton Place, these are based upon the 1850 and the 1860 agricultural census for Middleton Place. So basically, what you're seeing was what was here at one time or another. All right, roll over. There we go. And then the last part of the stable yards is actually what we refer to as Eliza's house, which is an 1870s freedman's cottage. This place, we use it as the focus of our interpretation of not only African-American life here on the plantation, but also the institution of slavery.
It's neat that those records were preserved.
Oh yes, and it makes Middleton Place an even more special place, just because not only of our natural beauty, but of the history that is here. And we try to use that history to kind of put a lens onto American history, that we can see the beginning of the country all the way up to the present day here at Middleton Place.
2 World War II veterans are being honored for their service, and they're both 99 years old, and they're twin brothers. Mike Anderson shows us how their unique bond pulled them through some of the most difficult times.
Not many people make it to 99, even fewer alongside their identical twin. But Boyd,
I think when something happens to him, I feel it.
And Ralph Henderson are seemingly inseparable.
Boyd has always been a good companion.
Even if they now live far apart.
You're such a sweetheart.
At a combined birthday party, dozens of family members
You mean so much to us.
paid tribute to the 2 decorated soldiers. Their military service started shortly after marriage, both leaving behind their young wives.
I have the desire to join the Army. I was drafted.
Ralph didn't have a choice.
And my mother
and Boyd
asked me to go along with him.
Went out of love.
Which I did.
While at first they trained together, they were soon separated.
I was worried to death until I finally found him.
Boyd was the commander of an M10 tank.
We were pushing the Germans out of Rome.
What he didn't know
and they counterattacked
is Ralph was not far away at a nearby camp. It was a difficult battle.
I lost 9 men, and I'll never get over it. They were such good men, such good officers.
But they were victorious.
Pull that flag down, and it's the flag of Germany.
Ralph and Boyd Henderson held that flag together, seen in newspapers around the country. It's also where Boyd earned the Purple Heart.
I'm honored to be American.
But now surrounded by family, holding that same flag.
From sea to shining sea.
These twin patriots.
I'm grateful that Ralph's alive and I'm alive. We can associate with each other. We had the best feelings towards each other.
Get to see their legacy live on.
Boyd and I have very long to live.
The years ahead
We'll do the best we can.
May not be many. They credit the way they've lived.
Love your wife, love your family, love everybody.
How are you?
And the Lord will bless you and help you get along in life.
For making their days so plentiful.
No, it's better than I ever thought it was. A lot better.
Well, stay with us. We'll have another look at your first alert forecast when we come back.
And welcome back. 627. It's a nice day outside. We're right at 70 degrees wherever you are, give or take a degree or two. Going to pop up into the 90s today. Nothing on the radar right now. You know, yesterday we had a few little stray showers up in the northeast part of the state that kind of overspread us. I don't see that disturbance necessarily being a problem today. However, we will have some scattered showers this afternoon. About a 20% chance of show today, or so today. Hot weekend, summertime weekend coming up. The next obvious look at fall may be about a week from now. We'll tell you about that in our full weather later.
Still to come at WLBT News at 6:30, Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson take a look at the damage left behind from Harvey. All this and more when we come back.